Hola chicos! So, we're here today to learn about los verbos reflexivos. What are those? Well, they're reflexive verbs. You can find some examples of these on page 80 in your textbook, basically where the grammar section is. So let's start learning about reflexive verbs. Los verbos reflexivos. One thing that gets a little tricky is dealing with something that they call reflexive pronouns. But it's going to make it a little bit easier when I describe this next part. What does it say? Well, in the reflexive construction, the subject is also the object. A person does as well as receives the action. Or the subject, the pronoun, and the verb are all in the same form. Well, let's give a few examples. The next slide. Por ejemplo, yo me levanto a las 8 de la mañana. If you look at the yo, the me, and the levanto, you'll see when we learn a little bit more about these reflexive verbs that yo and levanto agree with one another, meaning I get up. But where did that me come from? Well, with a reflexive verb, it's dealing with myself. Who am I getting up at 8 in the morning? Ah, myself. Me means myself. Let's look at the next one. Ella se despierta muy temprano. Ella and despierta, those two agree, meaning she wakes up very early. But who is she waking up? Well, then we see that se. The se is also referring to her, but in this case it means herself. She wakes up herself very early, muy temprano. Okay, maybe you're kind of getting it. Well, let's do a few more. ¿A qué hora te desayunas cada día? At what time do you have breakfast every day? Now, in this situation, you're noticing the word to is not here, and that's okay. We don't have to use the subject pronoun in every single case. We could go back to the first example and just say, me levanto, meaning I get up, or I wake myself up, or I get myself up, okay? So with this one, we have a te, and we've seen the word to before. They're somewhat similar, but therefore we should know that desayunas should be ending in the to form. Por ejemplo, te desayunas, or tú te desayunas, okay? Mis hermanas se maquillan en su cuarto. My sisters put on makeup. So now look at maquillan. That does end in an an, which does also agree with mis hermanas. So who are my sisters putting makeup on? Ah, the se now means my sisters are putting makeup on. Any ideas? Go ahead, say it. You're right, themselves. Perfecto. Then we have nosotros. Nosotros nos acostamos muy tarde. We go to bed very late. Well, who are we putting to bed? Nos, ourselves. Okay, chicos. And one other example. Pepito se baña en el baño. What is Pepito doing in the bathroom? He's taking a bath. But who is he bathing? Ah, here we have again, se. Pepito se baña. He is bathing himself. Muy bien. Okay, so chicos, how do you form a reflexive verb? And what's funny is that look at how it looks. Levantarse. So it's a little different than what we've seen before, because here we have levantar, and what's new is this se. Okay, so that's something different. With that, when we see a verb ending in se, like this one, levantarse, we're going to know that it is a reflexive verb. Therefore, what should we add in front? Me for myself, te for yourself, se can mean himself, herself, itself, and yourself. Okay? And then we go up to nos, meaning ourselves, os, yourselves, but this would be used informally, So more than one person, we're talking to a bunch of our friends. And then lastly, we see a say again, but this time it's agreeing with the ustedes form. So this could be yourselves again, but formal. You're talking to the principal, your guidance counselor, all at the same time. Or it can mean, did I say yourself or yourselves or themselves, okay? Make sure you're writing this down. Okay, continuemos. Here are some other examples, okay? Here we have despertarse, to wake up, okay? Vestirse, to get dressed. But we can also translate it to say to get oneself dressed, to wake oneself up, okay? And notice what we've done. If you're looking at the red, por ejemplo, with despertarse, we have the yo form. Despierto, despiertas, despierta. But remember, we need the me, te, se, nos, os, and se in front. Okay, same thing with vestirse. Now these two verbs both happen to be, if I took my cursor here, I'm going, it's a boot, right? It's a boot verb, okay? Both of them are. So same with vestirse, we have me visto, te viste, se viste. Okay, again, me, te, se, nos, os, se. Say it with me. Me, te, se, nos, os, se. You can create a song for that tomorrow. I think that would be fun to share with everybody. All right, let's continue. Two other verbs. Acostarse, to go to bed. Notice again, it's another stem change. Of course, it just happens to be. And cepillarse, a normal verb. So let's look at this one. Cepillarse, to brush oneself. And again, we could say this could be dealing with your hair or your teeth, okay, depending on what's going to follow the verb. Me cepillo. I am brushing you? No. I am brushing myself. Te cepillas. You're brushing yourself. Roberto se cepilla. Robert is brushing himself. Nos cepillamos. We're brushing ourselves. Os cepilláis. You guys are brushing yourselves. And ellos, por ejemplo, ellos se cepillan. They are brushing themselves. All right, nice job. Okay, posición. Where do we put these reflexive pronouns? All right, well, there are three different places really, but if you're ever, I just can't remember all the three rules. What did she say? What did she say? Well, you can always remember, always put it in front of your first verb. Okay, so just like we were doing with the other examples with the just conjugating the verbs, we always put it in front. Me, and here we have, me acuesto. Okay, that's right in front. Me quiero acostar. Me estoy acostando. The me is in front of every single one of those verbs, and it is perfect. Another way, and this is only going to be when we have a gerund. Here we have acostándome, cepillándose. The acostando and the cepillando are gerunds, or words that are the verbs ending in ing. So estoy acostándome ahora mismo. I am going to bed right now. Luisa está cepillándose los dientes. Luisa is brushing her own teeth. Okay. Or the last way would be attaching it to the infinitive. But this is only going to happen if we have two verbs in our sentence. And take a look, where are the two verbs in these examples? Let's look at the first one. Voy a acostarme ahora mismo. Well, our first verb is voy. Our second is acostar. And acostar is an infinitive, so I can say voy a acostarme. And then the next one, Luisa. Luisa va a cepillarse. That should say los dientes. Okay, make this a little bigger. Perfect. Okay, Luisa is going to brush her teeth. Va a cepillarse. Okay. Another thing too, remember, going back up to the first one here, I can put it in front of a conjugated verb. So with my third example, where I said, well, I could attach it to an infinitive, if I don't remember that rule, I could always say, me voy a acostar, or Luisa se va a cepillar. Okay? All right, let's see. We're almost finished here. Now, looking at these verbs, we see Well, wait, what's the difference? How can we tell if it's a reflexive verb or not? We've got the left-hand side with acostarse, bañarse, cepillarse, despertarse, etc. But look at the other side. Acostar, bañar, cepillar, despertar. Which ones are reflexive, chicos? If you said acostarse, bañarse, cepillarse, you are correct. Tienes razón. Those are the reflexive verbs. And do you want to remember, or do you want to know why, or how we can remember that? Because they all end in say. Okay, so when we see on a piece of paper these words, these verbs ending in say, we'll know those are reflexive. So wait, I have to put me, te, say, nos, os, or say in front. All right, let's take a look. Could you answer these questions? ¿Puedes contestar, chicos, esas preguntas? Well, ¿a qué hora te despiertas por la mañana? ¿Te sientes bien o mal hoy? ¿Estás I don't like that one. Let's get rid of this one. Because it's just a silly question anyways. ¿Quieres acostarte ahora? ¿Quién en tu familia se maquilla? ¿En ustedes se lavan las manos antes de comer? Well, let's go back to the first one. Te despiertas. Who am I talking to? Well, you, right? I think I am for most of these. So how would we answer in the yo form? Well, if I always remember saying, me, te, say, nos, os, say, well, if the yo form is may, I should start with may. May, and then what's the yo form of despiertas? You got it. Me despierto. Okay. But what time? At what time? ¿A qué hora? Oh, well, me despierto a las 5. Perfecto. Chicos, or chico, chica, te sientes bien o mal hoy? All right, so I'm still talking to you because I'm saying, do you feel? Do you feel well? Do you feel badly today? May, right, because I'm asking you. What happens to sientes? What's the yo form? You got it. Me siento bien. Excelente. ¿Quieres acostarte ahora? Do you want to, what is acostar? Yes, you're right. Go to bed. Do you want to go to bed now? Sí. Quiero acostar. Now wait, what happens to the te if I'm talking about me, myself? Aha. Quiero acostarme ahora. Muy bien. Okay, let's try the next two. ¿Quién en tu familia se maquilla? Who in your family se maquilla? What? That's right, put on makeup. So who in your family puts on makeup? Well, yo. Yo. What do I need instead of a say? Myself. How do I say myself? Yo me maqui. Yes, maquillo. Perfecto. ¿En ustedes se lavan las manos antes de comer? So I'm asking all of you. Do you guys all do this? Sí. Nos lavamos las manos antes de comer. Muy bien, chicos. All right, the last thing we have here, if you want to have some more practice, you could go to phschool.com. Remember, at the end of every lesson with the grammar in our textbooks, you can just type in the web code, or if it works, let's see here. Click on this link, Practica here. You can make this a little bigger. Sorry about this. Let's see here. Lo siento. Aha. Here we go. So here you have some examples. Okay, this is where the link takes you. And what's great about this activity is you type in. Okay, what do you think the answer is? And at the very end, when you've given an answer for each one, you can then show results, and it's going to tell you which ones you got right, which ones you got wrong, and it gives you an option to try them otra vez. Buena suerte, chicos. Adios.